Hi, church. My name is Carlos. I'm sure most of you know me already. I just thought I'd take this opportunity to do a short video to show you what we do as a biomedical scientist. Most of you know that I work in Queen's Hospital Pathology Lab. I work in Hematology Lab. That our work involves testing samples for hematology tests, as in hemoglobin, HB levels, white cells, and we diagnose leukemia, anemias, and other diagnoses include coagulation, people's bleeding disorder, and etc. etc. But I thought I'd make a simple video just to show you what we do with regard to this COVID-19, helping in diagnosis of cases, and what we're doing too in these difficult times. This video is going to be two short parts, really. Just to explain, we do not diagnose COVID-19s because the type of virus is very contagious, and it's very easy to get into nostrils or people get your lungs and affect people. So there's a special lab. When the government started testing, a special lab set up in Public Health England in London. Samples be sent out, but we do receive the samples, then we process them, we package them and send them out to them. But there is a need to increase volume for testing of these samples. So the government has decided to descale this. So Royal London, which is across the road next to us, they started doing the tests over there. And as of last week, we have been asked to do a serology test. Serology test means to test if the person was exposed or has had this disease, and they recovered, if they got an antibody to that. So, and this is being rolled out to NHS staffs to help to get people working in intensive care unit back to work, instead of isolating for a long period of time where they've not got it, or they've had it and they have had immunity to this disease. So we have been asked to do this in the lab. Alongside that, we are involved with testing for trial. We are involved with clinical trial. The government has started some clinical trial on some of the drugs, as in hydroxychloroquine and some other antibiotics, or some drug already used for other treatment. The government has involved some hospitals, ourselves, Queen's Hospital, Royal London, St. Thomas's, the Guy's, King's College, Cambridge, and some other hospitals in the country for this trial. So we got our intensive care unit here, where the patients are diagnosed for COVID-19. They are kept on this side. We do routine tests on these samples to make sure that these patients are okay, as in checking their hemoglobin level, HB, white cells level, etc., etc., to make sure they're stable. If they need blood transfusion, we do all this follow-up testing for them. But how we are involved with the trial is the fact that we have to take the patient blood samples, aliquot them, prepare them, and we test for each stage of the virus, as in acute phase, a diagnosis, and a chronic phase, and the patient will be given any of these treatments, how the virus is behaving in the the person's body at each stage, and whether these drugs are effective to be approved by this government or this country as effective for treatment. So there's some of our patients listed at Queen's Hospital that are going through this clinical trial. So the responsibility follows us locally here to take these samples, freeze them, then we do a series of testing. Basically, what we do is we test for viral load. The viral load, it's based on a PCR technology. PCR technology is a polymerase chain reaction, where it's a process where the person's the primer or the probe is identified. It's in a test reagent, test kit. Then the person's sample is taken, usually the blood. We use this technology at this hospital for other types of mutations already, but we don't use it for this particular virus at this one, because it's how it's easy to get. So we don't do it here. So we process it, we take the samples, aliquot it, and we send away to Public Health England and Royal London to do. But the test is just based on the fact that the person's sample is processed against the kit, which is called primer. If the person has got antigen, it will come together, then it will bind, and with controls available, it is confirmed that patient has got it. But what we do with the sample, in my next video, I will just show you how we take a sample, we only call the sample, and how contagious it is. So we have to put on personal protective equipment. I'll actually just do it here, personal protective equipment, to show you this equipment here, simple equipment, got a lot of equipment in the lab. I can only going to show you this. It's a sashing system, it's a pressure-based system where if you open a sample, because it's airdrops and aerosols, you don't want to inhale it into yourself. So you want a system that the drops or the pressure, the virus to be sucked up to go out first. So we use this. Right. So we have to use PPE just like anyone else out there. So I have to put on my mask to stop the virus entering my nose. We've got choice of using goggles, which we've got out there, and a face shield. The idea is if you open the sample, this is our lab specimen reception. Samples are received over here, and we got a lot of analyzers and equipment that we use. That's a session of analyzing the lab. The lab is very empty today because it's a bank holiday, and I am working for myself today, really. So it's a big lab, fairly big, and yeah, we use all these equipment here for the routine blood testing. Just got the in, and right. So I just want to just show you some of the equipment, the lab that we do some testing and what we are doing currently. This is a PCR lab. PCR lab is a technology being used recently to test for Covid-19. It's done in other hospitals because we don't do the diagnosis of this virus because it's very contagious. So the government has decided to choose a special lab that they do. They started by using PHE lab, which is Public Health England Laboratory, because they want to boost the volume of samples that's going through. It's been de-escalated to Bath and London hospitals, and we are going to start doing other tests as well very soon. We are verifying it to see if it's working properly, then we will start to do it over here. But we are taking samples for clinical trial. We are getting involved with other hospitals in the country and around the world to do a clinical trial with regard to the drugs that are working on the patients. Patients have been enlisted for some trials whilst they are in hospital receiving clinical trials. So we are taking samples for this investigation, as in hydroxychloroquine, and as well hydroxychloroquine to see what is the drug, the virus doing at each stage of the disease with regard to acute phase, chronic phase, and when the medication is working, is the viral load, I say the amount of viral in circulation at a particular time, what's happened to the virus. Yeah, those are some of the things that we want to look at. So we take samples